All right, everyone, welcome back to another blockchain news video. We have number 14 here to close out the work week of January 31st. So today in the news, it's Friday. We don't have a lot going on, but we do have some interesting articles. So stay tuned for those. Right now, Bitcoin is currently at 9,379, Ethereum 181, XRP 24 cents, Bitcoin Cash 378, Bitcoin SV at 278. So they're all showing a slight pullback, even though Bitcoin SV is at negative 5.7%. So we did discuss the reason why Bitcoin SV is showing more volatility, and you can go ahead and check that in the previous in the previous video. But essentially, it's based off of the liquidity available for Bitcoin SV and the volume. So there's not a lot of volume for Bitcoin SV, so that's why you might see greater pullbacks and greater gains. So moving on to Coin 360, we have pretty much a red showing for the entire market. We have a few coins in the green. We have Litecoin, Algo, ONT, Maker, ZEC, Zcash, and a few other ones, but for the most part, just a small pullback in the market. Nothing major, not a crash or anything. So we're hanging on to that 9,387 level for Bitcoin, almost 9,400. So it's looking good right now. Honestly, not a big pullback. So moving on to the news, we have financial firm SBI Holdings to offer XRP crypto as shareholders benefit. So the shareholders could either take the benefit in XRP or another product offered by its health food and cosmetics subsidiary SBI a la promo. So the small caveat with this though is that you must be a resident of Japan and have an account with SBI's cryptocurrency exchange VC Trade. This one launched back in 2018 and it was the first crypto trading platform backed by a bank. So if you want to take advantage of this, guys, you can go ahead and do so if you are stationed in Japan, but I figured this was pretty good, as we know that SBI is a large supporter of Ripple and they love XRP. So they're just trying to bring more opportunities for the XRP token, for XRP coin, and that's what they're doing. They're bringing this benefit forward for shareholders that are with their bank. So they also have a cash transfer app called MoneyTap that they're working with Ripple to get available within the Japanese bank. So there's been some participation of other banks within Japan, and SBI is on the up and up with XRP. So next up, we have Google reinstates Bitcoin rewards game suspended for deceptive practices. So Bitcoin Blast, we did cover this one on the previous video, had gotten banned from the Google Play Store, and they didn't have a specific reason other than it seemed like it had deceptive practices, even though the application had been available on the platform, I believe all the way since either 2017 or 2018, and it had been working fully functional. We also discussed on how just a few minutes of playing with the app, we had a reporter state that they had gained 100 Satoshis. So that's actually pretty good. Just playing around with this app, you can earn Bitcoin just for spending time in it. So the Google Play Store spokesperson did not respond to any comments in regards to providing further clarity around why the game was originally pulled. And even though the game does get to keep 20,000 ratings, it lost its rankings in the Play Store. So if you like this app, go ahead and support them. Make sure you're using the application to earn some Bitcoin on the Google Play Store. I believe it's also in the iOS App Store, so you can definitely check that out. Next up, we have, I'm going to pronounce it Shellys. Stock Exchange will list Ethereum tokens to represent supercars. So this is an island nation in the Indian Ocean, but is listing tokenized collectible cars worth over 200 million for retail and institutional investors. So pretty cool that they're just going to be setting these up with a token. They're going to have their own tokenized equity on Ethereum blockchain. But the first car is going to be a 1.1 million Ferrari F12 TDF, going to be listed on the exchange, and they're trying to go for as many as 500 vehicles. They do state that investors will have direct access to the exchange through a computer or mobile app. Its institutional clients can access via traditional broker channels. So pretty cool to see that, to see this opportunity also for retail investors. So I'm looking forward to seeing more companies actually do this, honestly, especially in the US. This would be pretty cool to see, to be able to purchase your car, your Ferrari, right, with Bitcoin or Ethereum or any other big crypto. So next up, we do have Mesago backed exchange shuts down, and the reason for the closure, it's due to low activity and stricter than expected regulations with the Go exchange. So they were attempting to innovate based on the Mesago protocol, but they met the challenge of low volume, harsh regulatory climate. So they're gonna be shutting things down. They stated, as of January 30th, 2020, we will no longer accept customers or allow transactions to take place on the exchange other than withdrawals. For existing customers, you will no longer be able to deposit, perform transactions, and you have until March 15th, 2020 at 2300 ETC to withdraw all your assets from your account. So pretty sad to hear. They were also trying to get a license with Malta to trade, but that's when the AMLD5 kind of was set in place for the EU regulations, so they weren't able to attain that. Yeah, so if you have your money on this platform, just note that you have until March 15th, 2020 to pull your assets from it. So next up, we do have CFTC chairman stating that we could be seeing Ethereum Futures launching quite soon in the space. So Heath Tarbert is the chairman of the CFTC. She stated, we are doing a lot in the digital asset space. We are seeing exchanges started to list. Certainly, we have seen Bitcoin futures, both cash settled as well as physically delivered. My guess is we are going to see Ether futures as well. And as things start to migrate into the commodity space, we will see even more. So not only just Ethereum futures, we may see one in 2020, right? Because the Bitcoin ones have been available for a while now. So I expect companies like Bakkt and other ones to try to push for Ethereum futures, and we could even see more. So it's kind of surreal to be reading conversations from the CFTC chairman in regards to Ethereum futures, right? We've been in this space for such a long time, and they've been so reluctant to move forward with the futures market, but it seems like they're trying to keep up with the pace of other countries right now. They don't want the blockchain tech to not be taken advantage of here in the US, so they're trying to encourage innovation also from their end. Next up, we have upcoming social platform Voice will seemingly require KYC verification. So ever since this Voice announcement was made, I did lose a lot of hope for the big EOS support, right? So now, granted, before I get any flack in the comment section for EOS itself, if you are a big fan, just understand that one of the big things that we had going, and we still kind of have going for EOS, is the support from Block.1. But the issue is that, now we have this Voice platform. We keep getting news that it's not going to be on EOS in itself. It won't be launching on EOS. And then that's, bringing more attention off of EOS. So this social network is going to be running on its own, I believe its own blockchain, and it's actually going to have a KYC model in place. So rather than giving users full control, it appears that a verification procedure will be in place that includes verifying real names, as there will be no aliases or anything along those lines. Moreover, the KYC steps include providing a photo ID and proof of address. So keep that in mind, guys. If you're looking forward to Voice, you will have to complete those before you can even use the social network. So my biggest thing was I wanted Block.one and EOS to kind of work in the same way that Ripple and XRP do work hand in hand, right? You have that big company of Ripple kind of being the support system for XRP, but it seems even though there's so many critics out there that criticize how Ripple has their own methods outside of XRP, they still push XRP as the main go-to for the fastest and cheapest transactions. When I compare that to EOS right now, what's frustrating is that Voice is now going to be on the EOS blockchain, so it's going to be using its own coin or token. And you know, that's a big distraction from the EOS blockchain, right? From everything that's going within the EOS ecosystem. And it's almost like they're working against themselves because they're upgrading the EOS.io protocol, but you know, they just disconnect from the mainnet, which is very frustrating, not only for investors, but speculators, right? People that are looking from the outside in. So keep that in mind when you go and sign up for Voice. Next up, we have, these are the most traded tokens on decentralized exchanges right now. Currently, we're seeing the DEX landscape is evolving fast. We're seeing new liquidity aggregators, new relays, enhancing usability while reducing slippage. Trade volumes are also strong across the leading ERC20 DEXs and Binance DEX. So the big Binance DEX that's currently available is called Veracity, and it's 19% of all the trades taking place on the Binance chain. It is a attention-based video and gaming platform that enables content creators to earn tokenized rewards. So rather than trying to create a crypto-friendly YouTube like DLive, Veracity is designed to integrate into existing platforms such as Twitch, YouTube, and Vimeo. I actually haven't checked this out myself, but I'm gonna take a look later today and see what this is all about, since it's working with Twitch, YouTube, and Vimeo. So it's gonna be cool to check out. In Q4 2019, the project reported a 20x increase in videos viewed and a 10x increase in wallet registrations. BRA is currently listed on 6 exchanges, with the volume on Binance DEX exceeded only by that on HitBTC. So pretty big there for Veracity. Keep an eye on them. We also see stable coins dominating Kyber network. USDT, USDC, DAI, you know, some of the big ones that are currently being traded on the Kyber network. We also see Maker and Augur are Uniswap favorites, so that's where people tend to swap in and swap out of. And we see Unibright tops the IDEX charts. So the bigger news here was really honestly just taking a look at Veracity and letting you guys know about what they've been doing with the Binance chain. So next up, we have reason to worry. Trezor wallets can be physically hacked in less than 5 minutes. So news was making rounds throughout Twitter that Kraken Security Labs did announce a critical weakness on the Trezor 1 and Trezor Model T. They responsibly disclosed the full details of the attack to the Trezor team on October 30th, 2019. They decided to go public with this vulnerability disclosure now so that the crypto community can protect themselves before a fix is released by the Trezor team. So it seems like this has actually been live or had been going on since October 30th, but it hadn't been made public to people outside of the Trezor company, perhaps, or the execs within Trezor. So right now we've heard of this physical vulnerability that's on these Trezor hard wallet devices, but the biggest thing here is that the attack takes advantage of an inherent flaw within the device's microprocessing unit. So they're saying that it takes only 15 minutes to perform from start to finish. it's going to make it virtually impossible for Trezor to address the problem without a complete redesign of their wallet devices. So right now it's just a physical attack. It is not a remote attack, but just keep in mind, if somebody knows what they're doing and they're aware that you have a Trezor device, they could potentially get into your cryptocurrency holdings. So to perform the attack, a hacker would need to gain access to your device and physically open it up to access its computer chip. And if they can do it in 15 minutes, right, they can grab it, take care of it in 15 minutes and put it back. You would never know. So yeah, that's a big piece of news for Trezor. Just keep in mind, it's a physical one, not a remote one. So no need to rush or freak out right this very second, but keep in mind that, you know, it's still a vulnerability. Next up, we have Silk Road Marketplace senior advisor pleads guilty in U.S. federal court. So Roger Thomas Clark was a key figure in the development of Silk Road, advising on all aspects of the enterprise and even attempting to rearrange a murder for hire to protect its interests. So the court was in Manhattan. So Ross Ulbricht actually mentioned that he considered Roger Clark a real mentor. So he had a couple of aliases that he was going off of, Variety Jones and plural of Mongoose. So I'm guessing any conversations that were probably held under those aliases have been compromised. He was accused of urging and facilitating an attempted murder for hire because a Silk Road employee had stolen $350,000 in Bitcoin, or was suspected of doing so. So currently the prosecution is ongoing for Clark, but yeah, this had been going on since January 2011. It was first created in January 2011 and operated until 2013. Just interesting to see how this big marketplace just kind of went down. The FBI just, you know, took care of it. So actually, darknet markets have increased their share of total incoming crypto transactions in 2019, doubling from 0.04% in 2018 to 0.08%. So almost a 0.1% there. Interesting to keep in mind. Next up, we have BitFlyer now offers US users 0% of fees when buying Bitcoin with USD. So people in the United States now have another zero fee option to buy Bitcoin with the US dollar. Even though this exchange is actually based in or headquartered in Japan and has a subsidiary in Europe, they're launching this offer only for USA. So they've implemented it on their BTC/USD trading pair with their Pro trading tool and the BitFlyer Lightning. Some of the regular fees that they do have in place though are one Satoshi per unit of transaction on Bitcoin, which can be less than 1% at the present time. So that's kind of their regular trading fee. Their withdrawal fee for Bitcoin is actually 0.0004 Bitcoin, which is right now around $3.70. And their Ethereum ones are about 90 cents or 0.005 ETH. And there's also a $10 fee to wire USD out of a BitFlyer account. But in any case, this makes it a great way to enter into the market, right? Zero fee option for Bitcoin. Next up, we do have Bitcoin outperforms as Dow plunges 600 points, guys, due to the coronavirus scare. It's impacting travel. So another news sources, I did see that, you know, companies like American Airlines and other ones are not going to be going into China. So in the traditional markets, that tends to cause panic, and the epidemic for coronavirus has just gone global at this point. You know, big countries have mentioned that the virus is or has been seen in their countries, to include Russia, United States, and a couple other ones. But right now, the big thing to keep in mind is that the Dow Jones is down 603 points, about 2.1%. And that was actually on Friday. So that was last Friday. And now it is currently down 3% since Friday, when it closed at 29,160. So keep that in mind, guys. This big correction there for the stock market, the Dow Jones actually. So Russia, China, Russia has actually shut down their border to restrict anybody coming from the Chinese or China. You know, they're not allowed in. There's a temporary ban on wildlife trade. So pretty big deal there to restrict traveling into China or back into Russia. Next up, we have Bitcoin economy will hit $8 trillion in the next decade, predicts wealth manager Andy Edstrom. So his reason for this prediction of 8 trillion market cap, which would put you at about a 47, I'm gonna say 47 to around 50x from the current valuation now. He's saying that, you know, you have big companies and exchanges now. You have Fidelity and you have the Intercontinental Exchange, also known as ICE, which is the parent company to New York Stock Exchange, and they oversee Bakkt. So it's just too much. There's too much positive news coming for Bitcoin, and it's legitimizing Bitcoin, honestly, in a way that other smaller companies couldn't do. So his way of letting people know now is using that piece of information. And also when he's speaking to his clients, he speaks as if he was in the future. So he'll say things like, oh, it's 2022 and Bitcoin, you know, it just went through 6 figures on price. His clients are asking him back like, oh, we did know that Bitcoin was the best traded asset of the decade. Why do we not hold Bitcoin, essentially? So that's how he's telling his clients to think about Bitcoin, not think so much as the micro volatility or pullbacks that we've seen, but rather the big picture, right? No other asset has compared to Bitcoin's returns in the last 10 years alone. So Peter Brant is saying that Bitcoin is in early stages of another parabolic move. So he's comparing it to the one that took place back in 2013, which by the looks of the chart is actually pretty big. So this may actually be bigger than the one we saw at the end of 2017. So keep that in mind, guys. He's actually commodity trading legend, and he's given insight. He has a video where he explains the reasonings behind his new charting pattern or his current charting pattern, but it's because, you know, we never hit that huge bottom where people were expecting it to go all the way down to 5 grand. We did stay back at 6,500 level for a period of time, but you know, when you're in a bottom for so long, that only shows that you're going to be in the bull run for either a longer extended time or for bigger gains. So being that they never hit that $5,000 Bitcoin level, just showed that there's a lot of FOMO. There's a lot of weak hands that have been removed, you know, in the market that are currently holding Bitcoin. So we don't see that many weak hands right now. It's just a lot of people holding onto their crypto. So that's really good news for Bitcoin, guys. Keep that in mind. And last up for the news, we have Ripple's XRP Payments find use on Goland's platform with over 500,000 users. So now they're going to be giving the option here on Goland to be able to get paid out on XRP instead of the old way. So this is going to obviously help with cheaper transfer costs and all that good stuff that XRP brings to the table. And it's going to make people happier and probably incentivize growth in their business. So that's what they're hoping for. And I think it can be accomplished, especially with XRP just taking a few seconds to settle in the back end. So that's going to be pretty good. But anyways, guys, that's all for today. We are closing the work week here with Friday. And unless there's any other big news taking place during the weekend, you won't see a video from me, honestly. But for right now, go ahead and click the like button. You can definitely sub to the channel. We're going to be bringing out more videos here next week, Monday through Friday, same thing again. And feel free to comment down below if you want to talk more about these articles, some of the information that came out in regards to, you know, Google reinstating back the Bitcoin application and some of the other big ones, right? The CFTC chairman and other ones that we discussed. So I'll see you guys on the next one.